boys and girls. Welcome to our Homeschoolers virtual program. Ellie and I are going to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month today. It ended just a few days ago, so we have some books to share and a fun Google activity you can do on your own when we're done. So, a brief overview of Hispanic Heritage Month. I got this from scholastic.com. Hispanic Heritage Month celebrates the cultures and traditions of those who can trace their roots to Spain, Mexico, and the Spanish-speaking countries of Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. The annual celebration is observed from September 15th to October 15th. September 15th is the anniversary of the independence of 5 Latin American countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Mexico celebrates its independence on September 16th, and Chile follows suit on September 18th. One very famous Hispanic woman is Frida Kahlo. She was a famous Mexican painter known for her many self-portraits, and art inspired by nature. She was born in 1907. When she was 6, she got polio and had to stay home for 9 months when the muscles in her right leg stopped working. Her dad would take her to the park to get exercise, and eventually her leg returned to normal. And the kids at school kind of bullied her, so that's why he wanted to help her out. When she was a senior, she was in a very bad bus accident. She had a full body cast and had to lay in bed for 3 months. A year later, she was still not recovered and had to remain very still. While she lay in bed, she studied art and taught herself to paint. So her parents put a mirror above her so that she could see herself, and that's how she painted her self-portraits. Many of her paintings are self-portraits. Eventually, she was able to walk again and got a job teaching art to children. Frida married a fellow artist named Diego Rivera. Her self-portraits often showed the pain she was in, and some people didn't know how to take her art. In 1939, the Louvre Art Museum in Paris bought one of her paintings. That's a very famous museum in Paris. This was very important because she was the first artist from Mexico in the 20th century to have her art appear there. Her old injuries came back to bother her, so she eventually had to stay home and teach art. One day she became sick again. She had an art show that she had to be taken to by ambulance, and then she stayed in bed while people came and viewed her art. Frida was only 47 years old when she died in 1954, and I'm sure that you've seen her portrait in lots of her paintings. So we have quite a few books on Frida. The Google activity you're doing is a pixel art project of her. There are videos to walk you through it, and we hope you share your finished projects with us. We will share the link with this post. They can be emailed to loriem@gilibrary.org. If you aren't able to create a digital portrait, feel free to draw or paint one instead. If you Google how to draw Frida Kahlo or how to paint like Frida Kahlo, there are several videos to show you how. We are going to discuss a few books that you can check out at the library. The first one is Tales Our Abuelitas Told, a Hispanic folktale collection by F. Isabel Campoy and Alma Flora Ada. It's illustrated by Felipe Davalos, Vivi Escriva, Susan Guevara, and Leila Torres. One of my favorite stories in the book is about a little bird that gives his beautiful feathers to a turkey that wants to become king of the birds in the forest. The turkey didn't think the bird deserved the beautiful feathers, but thought he should have them. The bird asked the turkey if he wanted to borrow his beautiful feathers. Because of the beautiful feathers from the little bird, the turkey became king. The little bird waited and waited for him to return his feathers. Finally, he asked for the feathers back. The turkey said the little bird couldn't possibly show them off as well as he could. The little bird was so sad and embarrassed without his feathers, he hid himself away from everyone. One night, the owl saw the little bird without his feathers and told the other birds in the forest. They felt so bad for him that each bird chose their most beautiful feathers to give to the little bird. He came out of his hiding place to find a pile of beautiful feathers. He thought the turkey had finally given them back. The next day, as he flew around the forest, everyone admired his beautiful feathers. Usually, stories like this that are passed down from generation to generation have a moral. What do you think the moral of this tale is?
The next book we would like to share is called Bravo, Poems About Amazing Hispanics by Margarita Engel, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. We are going to read a poem about Pura Belpré. Pura Belpré was the first Puerto Rican librarian to be hired by the New York Public Library System. A gifted storyteller and puppeteer, she celebrated the stories that had been handed down across generations of her family, and her story Perez and Martina, which she published in 1932, has become a classic of children's literature. Pura Belpré also believed in welcoming everyone to the library, offering numerous programs and titles in Spanish to her neighbors at a time when such community outreach, especially to the Spanish-speaking community, was unheard of. She was born in 1899 and died in 1982. She went to New York for her sister's wedding and never went back to Puerto Rico. Her first job in New York was sewing clothing. She did not enjoy the job and saw that a library needed an assistant that was bilingual. She could speak English, Spanish, and French. While at the New York Library, she discovered there were no folk tales her abuela had told, so she decided to write her own. She went all over New York sharing her stories. She eventually met her husband, who was a musician. They traveled while he played his music, and she told her stories. Her husband passed away, so she returned to her library in New York. This poem is about Pura Belpré, and it was written by Margarita Engel in the book Bravo. It's called 2 Languages at the Library. My journey to Nueva York has been a voyage made of stories that grow. I came to attend my sister's wedding, but I stayed, found work, and studied to become a children's librarian, the first Puerto Ricana ever hired in the entire New York Public Library system. How strange that I am the first in this city with so many 2-language children who are so eager to read, so happy to learn. Nothing makes me feel more satisfied than a smile on the face of a child who holds an open book. Before her death, she was given the Lifetime Achievement Award from the New York Public Library. There is even a book award named after her. It is given once a year to a Latin author and illustrator that best illustrates or portrays the Latin culture in children's or youth literature. The 2020 author winner was Sal and Gabby Break the Universe by Carlos Hernandez. The 2020 illustrator winner was Dancing Hands, How Teresa Carreño Played the Piano for President Lincoln, illustrated by Rafael Lopez, written by Margarita Engel. You can find more award winners in the link with this video at the American Library Association website.
I also found a book that happens to be a Pura Belpré honor book, Portraits of Hispanic American Heroes for the Honor Author Award. It was written by Juan Felipe Herrera. It also has beautiful illustrations. A book about her is also an honor book called Planting Stories, The Life of Librarian and Storyteller Pura Belpré by Annika Aldume Denise and illustrated by Paola Escobar. The library has so many awesome books about Hispanics and written or illustrated by Hispanics. Don't forget to check them out. We hope you enjoyed our virtual program on Hispanic Heritage Month. Hope to see you next time, and don't forget to share your art.